Now, prompt engineering is about you understanding what are the key elements that you should put in your question to make sure that you get the best possible answer back from the model. So how to prompt, we're moving down that list now. How to prompt. So we say prime your prompt, define the task, use relevant keywords and phrases, write the initial prompt, and then test, evaluate, and iterate on the prompt. So what you're going to find is, and by the way, this is the reality for the majority of the people. They say that they are good at prompting. I'm sorry, they're not. Because when you actually come in and start asking them, how do they prompt and what patterns are they using and how are they, you're going to find that they're actually just starting to scratch the surface. And what we want to do with prompt engineering to really leverage this technology and get value for those $20 that you're going to be paying per month, or whatever amount you're paying for a month, is you're going to make sure that you know how to exploit the technology. So I'll show you a bad prompt, right? The bad prompt is, what is a good car to buy? That's a bad prompt, right? It's going to return some relevant information, right? So you guys can see my screen, I assume. I'm going to double check here. Yep. So you could see that it's going to come back with good for, okay, let's clarify first. What's the purpose? So actually the model is coming back and saying, give me a little bit more information, right? However, it says, okay, regardless, just as a generic, balanced, middle of the line, not knowing whether you want a sports car or a truck or an SUV or a camper, not knowing anything. It says, you know what? A good model is a Honda Accord 2025. And why is it worth? It's because of this. And then here's another one, an electric model that they recommend and so, that it recommends, and so on and so on and so on. But again, this is a bad prompt. Now, if you take a look at writing a good prompt, so if you take a look at box 1 in The Apprentice, you'll see that it says, define a persona, who the AI model should behave like. So if you remember to my introduction, assuming that you've got knowledge from mechanics, used car salesmen, or salespeople, from machinists, from whatever, right? Like you've got knowledge of all of those people. You could say, oh, you know what? I want you to act as a mechanic, as a car mechanic. And you can even give it a combined one, and a used car expert. So I want you to be a car mechanic and a used car expert, right? Now, why is that important to give that persona? Like if you see that in the first box, because you're fine-tuning the model, instead of, if you think about the amount of knowledge that's, by the way, we're talking about like 70 billion, pieces of information floating around in this model. Can you imagine that? Like, I think the size of the models from this was like a year ago was like 100 million. It's unfathomable for us to understand the size of this thing. So when I actually say act as a particular persona, what's happening is that instead of having this massive universe of data, now I've actually cut it down into that segment that has all the information about car mechanics and used car experts. So all of a sudden, instead of a shotgun on everything that it knows, I'm actually now really kind of honing in and zeroing in on the domain that is relevant for what I'm asking. Second one is make it clear and concise. The other thing that I've seen a lot is a stream of consciousness. It's like, and again, it's just because they don't know how to prompt. People will just ramble. It's like as if they're talking to a friend of theirs without a specific point. Unfortunately, deterministic systems and mathematical systems don't respond that well. They'll respond, but it'll just give you a random answer versus you are being very specific to say that, I am looking for a used car to buy, right? And then look at this, provide specific informations and examples. So how can I make this further? I can give it more information. It doesn't, for now, let's assume, it doesn't know me much. So we're going to give it more information to say, I have a family, let's say or let's just say my family, let's say, my current family setup is my wife and me, 2 dogs, whatever, right? So now it's got more information. So it knows this is a family thing. It knows I have 2 dogs and I have a wife. So there's like 2 people, etc. And I can give more examples to say I am interested in SUVs. So now I've further kind of focused the response or focused the model to exclude trucks, to exclude campers, exclude sports cars, luxury cars, right? It's focused on SUVs. And I can continue to specify the task. And this is very important, is to say, what is it that, even if I say all of this, what is it that I'm asking? I'm saying, I want you to, now you have to think and say, okay, what is it that I want this model to do? Or, given the information that it has access to. So I told it that I want to act as a mechanic and a used car expert. Told that I'm looking for a used car. I gave it my family information. I told that I'm looking for an SUV. You can see the difference between this is a much, 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 much better prompt than what is a good used car to buy. Because now I can say, I want you to give me a list of the top 10 used SUVs that can fit my purpose. Now, if you take a look at the output that's going to come from this, now this is a whole lot more targeted. It's doing a web search as well. It's getting information about SUVs for families from 2020 and on. And then it just came back with the top 10 recommendations. You could see this is so much better now. Well, obviously, because I gave it more information, right? But that's, in a way, this is what prompt engineering is all about. It's about being able to use these models to get better answers. So now we've got some really good answers. Here's Toyota Highlander. It's giving you the pros, the cons. Honda Pilot, Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, Mazda CX-6, Subaru Forester, Ford Explorer, and so on and on and on and on. Okay. Now you'll notice under the apprentice box here, it says iterate on your prompt. So one of the other things that you will note that I've noticed a lot of people do is they will ask a question and they will close the interface, right? What I recommend you do is to actually keep all your conversations running. So if you take a look at here, if you look here, car buying advice, if you notice this is the chat that we're having, it actually gave it a label, car buying advice. I can rename it and I can say rename it to used SUVs research, right? So now this chat remains open until you delete it. You don't have to get rid of it. You can leave it and come back anytime that you want to continue to iterate and ask better questions. So I can come back, for example, a day later or a week later or a year later, and I say, hey, give me more information about the maintenance records of the Subaru. Oh, this was Forester. I don't know if that's correct. It doesn't matter, right? So I've actually now, I want more information. So now it's Subaru Forester specific things, oil consumption, CVT transmission service, differential fluid, blah, 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 whatever, right? And then you can dive deeper and deeper and deeper based on the topic of your interest. So we're talking about cars here. This applies to any domain, guys. This could be live cattle. This could be farming. This could be medicine. This could be training. This could be diet, whatever. Any topic that is of interest to you that you want to get more insights and information on, you can come and use these large language models to help you discover, learn, and find new ways and more information about them.